Human rights, rescue operations, human trafficking, illegal foreigners, illegal mining, Zama Zamas, and Operation Vala Umgodi, the police operation to interdict the illicit mining. These are but a few of the key terms tossed about in headlines over the past several weeks as a months-long standoff in Northwest Province in South Africa appears to be approaching an end. Or is it? Hundreds, possibly thousands of people are believed to still be holed up in a vast underground tunnel network without sufficient food or water. The Zama Zamas, as they're known, are hiding from authorities underground, fearing to leave the mine as they face arrest and or deportation. Zama Zamas operate in some 6,000 disused mines across South Africa. So what are Zama Zamas? Well, this is a South African term for illegal miners or artisanal miners. Many, if not most, Zama Zamas tend to be foreigners, frequently in South Africa illegally. South Africa is, sadly, unfortunately, well known for its xenophobia and hatred towards other Africans. While xenophobia is problematic, anger towards criminals who illegally enter your country and then steal your natural resources is certainly understandable and warranted. Illegal mining is a problem across Africa, but especially in the eastern DRC and in South Africa, where belligerent Zama Zamas have increasingly endangered and threatened local communities in the heart of the country in Gauteng province. So why are Zama Zamas in the mine at Stilfontein? Illegal gold mining is widespread in South Africa. Long the largest gold producer on the planet, gold mining has fallen on hard times in South Africa, where mining gold is only feasible today owing to record high gold prices in a period of global economic instability. The easy gold was long ago recovered from the mines in South Africa. Today, commercial mines descend miles below the Earth's surface, deep underground where intense heat and pressure make gold mining a highly expensive and dangerous vocation. While turning a profit is becoming increasingly challenging for South Africa's commercial gold miners, the outlook for artisanal miners is somewhat different. Crushing poverty, a consequence largely of failed governance across the region, makes desperate Africans take undue risk in the informal sector where safety is often an afterthought. Thousands routinely search for gold deposits in abandoned mines that are no longer deemed viable or safe. According to South Africa's government, more than $1 billion is lost annually in revenue because of illegal mining. That's almost 20 billion rand. While illegal mining may put a little cash in the pockets of some miners, the dark side of this illicit activity is truly scary, folks. Children are often employed or press-ganged into mining owing to their smaller physical size. Syndicates are all too often involved and trade the mine gold illegally, evading taxation, safety protocols, or consequences for environmental degradation. Safety, as I said previously, is all too often ignored or non-existent. The ecological carnage associated with indiscriminate use of mercury, pollution of the water table, and surface water sources, as well as undermining the substrate, also often lead to mine collapses. So what should be done at this standoff at the Stilfontein mine where miners refuse to surface in a bitter standoff with law enforcement? Well, the police should not be entering the mines. The miners have previously threatened police safety should they descend into the shafts. Some are calling for the police to go into the mines to remove the miners. This is not a wise idea. Few, if any, of the police are actually qualified to enter mines and know mine safety and would endanger themselves and those underground. Police should and have allowed those underground to exit the mine and surrender. That, of course, is the goal of what's going on here. The South African Human Rights Commission alleges that police actions at the mine have or could result in the loss of lives, infringing upon the miners' right to life as enshrined in Section 11 of the South African Constitution. Now, given that nearly all those who have thus far exited the shafts are illegal foreign nationals, does that mean that South Africa's Constitution enshrines such protections for criminal alien invaders, as well as South African citizens? Also, providing food, water, and medication, because many of the Zama Zamas are HIV positive and on antiretroviral treatment, only prolongs the standoff and gives succor to criminals. Now, NGOs should stop seeking to provide succor to the illegal mining operation. Their actions are illegal, dangerous, and even costly to law-abiding citizens. The situation at a disused commercial mine in Stilfontein in Northwest Province is also emblematic of the foolhardy concept that the state owns minerals, not the person who owns the land. This is a problem all over the planet, where states abuse resources at the expense of the people who live on the land, and the people who live on the land do not profit from it. That is morally bankrupt. If you own the land, what's below it and goes across its surface belongs to you. Now, over the weekend, the courts have once again intervened in this situation. Headlines today say the community is allowed to take food and water to trapped Stilfontein miners. Folks, these miners are not trapped. They can exit the mine at any time. They choose not to. There is no need for rescue. No one is trapped. The police are not preventing people from leaving the mine. They simply refuse to. Now, this headline comes after the NGO Mining Affected Community in Action, or MACUA, sought an urgent court order to compel the government to provide humanitarian aid to the miners. Humanitarian aid. It's not humanitarian aid. They refuse to exit the mine. They'll be fed and watered if they come out. Now, why would a community want the court to allow resources to reach the Zama Zamas? Well, because supplying the Zama Zamas is a lucrative venture for many locals. Zama Zamas tend to remain in the mines for extended periods, often for months on end, and they rely on help from contractors outside the mine who pull them up for a fee. Now, these contractors also supply them with food, water, cigarettes, medicine, other items by lowering them into the ground. There's an entire economy underground, with food and goods sold at exorbitant prices. The South African newspaper The Star has reported that Judge Nicklin van Nieuwenhuizen granted an interim order allowing for the immediate provision of aid, which will remain in effect until a full court order hearing on Thursday, December 5th, 2024. Aid. It's not aid. And also today, a decomposed body was retrieved from Shaft 11 at the mine. It was hauled out of the shaft late in the afternoon on December 3rd. Sources said the body is one of several that were thought to be underground. Community volunteers also lowered food and parcels into the shaft today, and they pulled that body out. In a letter written in Sesotho, Zama Zamas complained that there was not enough food. The letter also stated that there were more dead bodies underground. As I said, naturally, the South African Human Rights Commission has entered the fray on behalf of the Zama Zamas, not the state or citizens who are being harmed by illegal activity. The South African Human Rights Commission said in a statement in November that it was investigating the police for restricting the miners' essential supplies. Why does that warrant investigation? Well, the South African Human Rights Commission in a press release has noted reports regarding the ongoing operation Vala Umgodi at a disused mine in Northwest Province that until Tuesday, the 12th of November, 2024, the South African Police Services had restricted essential supplies such as food, water, and medication to the shaft for nearly 3 months. This restriction was reportedly intended to pressure miners allegedly operating illegally in the shaft to resurface. Well, it's not allegedly. Anyone who's underground is committing a crime. This is a disused mine. It's closed to the public, and anyone who's underground is committing a crime. There's no allegedly here, South African Human Rights Commission. Now, they did acknowledge that criminal activity is afoot at Stilfontein. While the commission condemns criminality and supports lawful operations addressing such conduct, it emphasizes that any approach must adhere to human rights principles and constitutional imperatives, including the preservation of life, human dignity, the avoidance of inhumane treatment, and the principle of being innocent until guilty. Innocent until proven guilty. Well, fair enough. Exit the mine, which is being illegally occupied, surrender to authorities. Done and dusted. Easy peasy. The miners are the problem, not law enforcement. Now, this goes beyond that. As I mentioned, human trafficking is concerned about what's going on here with children reportedly in the mines. The South African opposition leftist political party, the Economic Freedom Fighters, has correctly noted that the presence of children from countries across Southern Africa solidifies the fact that this is not merely an issue of illegal mining, but a devastating indictment of cross-border child trafficking and exploitation. Indeed, and not just children, but others have been trafficked into the mine against their will and are being held underground, reportedly. This is a situation that must be dealt with. So what happens going forward? This is an international story now. It's all over the international press, the BBC, the CNN, also reporting on this story over the past few weeks. What will happen? Well, it certainly doesn't make South Africa look good. But are the authorities at fault here? Perhaps. Was the mine guarded? Was it blocked off? Who knows? With Zama Zamas illegally mining at least 6,000 locations around South Africa, it's nigh on impossible for the authorities to prevent this. So who also is at fault here? Well, the people who supply these Zama Zamas, the syndicates, the local people selling food and water and medication, they're also at fault. People should stop supporting this. And the South African Human Rights Commission, who stands up for the rights of criminals and not law-abiding South Africans. Well, we'll see. Christmas is approaching, and there are still many people reportedly underground. Will they survive? Well, the delivery of food this week will certainly make a difference. But this standoff has to end, and many more are yet to come. Now that South Africa actually has a police minister who cares about law enforcement and not his self-aggrandizement, like the cat in the hat, Becket Chile, who is now crying that he needs a firearm to protect himself, while he did want South Africans to protect themselves when he was a police minister. Now that he knows how dangerous South Africa is. Well, the new police minister, Mkhunu, is working on this, and we'll see what happens going forward. What say you, folks? And there you have it. The Zama Zamas at the Stilfontein mine in Northwest Province remain underground, many of them, although some have surrendered, and apparently many have passed away. Feel free to leave your comment behind. God bless, and Merry Christmas.